a year ago, Bears general manager Ryan Poles said it was going to be the toughest year to make the Bears roster, but now it seems like this year will be the same message to this team. And the running back room has some opportunities, especially with DeAndre Swift being the lead back and them looking for a duo to pair him with in Ben Johnson's offense. The Bears drafted Kyle Monangai out of Rutgers in the 7th round, and no better person to talk to about him than his college coach, Rutgers head coach Greg Schiano. So, Greg, thanks for joining us.
My pleasure, Cassie.
Well, it was interesting because when I reached out to Rutgers about talking to you about Kyle, it was like, we are, not surprised by anything that Kyle goes on and achieves in his career, whether it be football or something else. What makes this kid so special after you've gotten to know him over the handful of years?
Well, he's just an incredibly bright individual, right? So everything he does, he's successful at, whether it's in the classroom, on the field. He's a special guy, and the things he's done for us as a program, in a leadership way, has also really, really been important.
I want to start with off the field because I was just privy to a very funny story that his running backs coach actually told him to stop asking questions in the running backs room. Did you know about that story?
I did not, but I'm glad that he does, right? There's no dumb questions. I believe that.
What made him so special on the field? He's only one of a handful of running backs who's ever rushed for 3,000 yards in Rutgers history.
Well, he's got great vision and great patience. And then I think what makes him really special is the suddenness with which he can get into a crevice. I mean, it doesn't take very much room for him to get downhill and really go. And then at the end, he finishes every run. That's what makes him hard. He's going to make you miss, and he's very, very explosive. But when it comes time, when there's no other thing to do, he will run you over. And you say, that little guy can run you over? Yeah, the answer is yes. And he'll surprise people.
Were you surprised that he was taken in the 7th round? We know it was a deep draft class in the running back position in particular, but for him to drop that far, did that shock you?
No, I was hoping he'd go higher, but he ran a decent time, but it wasn't a lights out time. And like you said, it was a deep class for running backs. But I know what he's going to do in that league. There's going to be a lot of people that were sorry that they let him go that far. But I'm happy for the Bears. Certainly, I have a history with them, and I told Kyle it's a great city and a great organization to be part of.
And especially when it comes to running backs. I mean, think of Walter Payton and everything that he meant to this city. He was talking about having a chip on his shoulder and being doubted by the fact that he was taken in the 7th round. And it sounds like that's kind of a similar path that he's always had, whether it be coming out of high school, not being highly recruited, now going into the NFL, having to prove himself. What do you remember about him coming out of high school and giving him the opportunity to play D1 football at Rutgers?
Well, I'll tell you, it was not a sure thing, that's for sure. His coach called me and stood on the table for him, and I had just gotten hired back to Rutgers, and I know his coach well, and I said, well, if you say that, then I'm gonna believe you, and we're gonna take a shot. But he was playing in the backfield at the time with a guy who was a very highly recruited running back, and he was kind of the second guy, and he was really talented. But I think because of his size, and again in that situation, he may have gotten overlooked. And thank God he did, because that's how we were able to get him at Rutgers. And I'm forever indebted to his head coach.
We talk about Kyle Monangai, and a lot of people reference Isaiah Pacheco as a similar story. What is it about your running backs?
Well, I think one thing is we're not afraid to run the football, right? In a day and age where everybody wants to throw it all over the lot, we'll do that. But we also like to run the ball, and we're committed to it. And Kirk Shiraka, our offensive coordinator, what a great fit for Kyle. I mean, Kyle's made for what we do, and I actually think he's made for what the Bears are going to do. So I'm excited for him.
Do you pay attention to NFL offenses and what Ben Johnson did in Detroit and what we can only assume will carry over partially with that run game in Chicago?
I don't get time to really follow other than
Yeah.
things that we decide to study in the off season for our own improvement. But we all have friends in the NFL. I have an experienced staff, a lot of guys who coached in the league. So Ben is a good friend of one of my assistants. So we kind of talk about it. And when Kyle got selected by the Bears, our receivers coach Dave Brock was thrilled because he said he'll fit perfectly in what Ben wants to do.
You talk about the vision he has, the quick feet. You've have experience coaching in the NFL. Like, what do you think about his game really translates most to the next level?
Well, the one thing that Kyle does, and I think goes unnoticed, is he gets you out of trouble. He has some of the best 2-yard runs you've ever seen, right? Because they could have been negative plays, -4, -5-yard plays, and he'll make a guy miss in the backfield. He'll make another guy miss, and then he'll violently attack the third guy and turn it into a 2-yard gain. And that's winning football. When you don't take negative plays, you have an opportunity later in that rack of downs to do something. And those are the plays that are missed by the common fan, but coaches sure recognize it. And Kyle does that. He'll do that on a regular basis. That's you can't put a price on that.
We were all laughing because the Bears also drafted an offensive lineman from Michigan State. And after rookie minicamp practice one day, he pulled Kyle Monangai aside. He said, "Dude, we hate you in East Lansing because you ran all over us." And I believe that was the last game of the season for you guys. Do you have any special Kyle Monangai stories that really stick out when you think of him as a player and what he did for your program?
Well, there's so many of them, but the thing that I remember is even up until midway in his junior year, people really didn't know who he was, and we knew around here. And he had a block in pass protection that he dropped one of the bigger batter linemen in the Big Ten Conference and just dropped him right on his rear end. And I think that kind of sent a signal. Yeah, he's a good running back. This guy's a complete back. I'm excited. I'm excited for him, and I'm excited for Chicago.
Do you know what game that was against or what team?
Well, it was Northwestern, I believe. Yeah.
Okay, we'll pull the highlight. We'll find it. We'll scroll through the entire game. Anything else you want to add about Kyle?
No, I just love him as a person. He comes from a great family. Mom and dad are super people, raised the right way. And, if he wasn't playing football, he'd probably be owning the world. He's that kind of guy. So I just wish him the best of luck and look forward to following him.
All right, Greg Schiano, we appreciate your time and good luck this season.
Okay, thank you.
The Offseason is now available on Spotify, Odyssey, or wherever you listen to your podcasts.